Well, hi guys, Ian here. I thought it would be useful to maybe do a video and talk about lighters, matches, the different things available and what's best or not. We had a question in our WhatsApp group this morning about it, which I answered, and then I was thinking I'd maybe do a little bit of a write up for our Facebook group. And then I thought, well, that would need photos, and in the end, maybe video would be better. So I thought, why not just do a video? So what I've got in front of me, the standard selection, I suppose. I've got an old pipe that's not really used here. I'm going to demonstrate something with that. Matches, the Zippo with gas insert, standard, there's a clipper, so normal sort of disposable, I suppose, butane lighter, a jet lighter, and high-end old boy butane lighter. So we'll talk through these, the different options that you've got, and consider the advantage, disadvantage of each. And hopefully the quality's okay. I'm just recording on a laptop, no fancy cameras or anything. So yeah, let's look at the different options. And I think the best place to start is with matches. Consider the advantage, disadvantage. So one thing I guess we can say, we're all familiar with matches, but this really provides your benchmark for pipe smoking. And by that, what I mean is, if you just consider the flame, you could even argue it's adjustable, isn't it? I mean, depending on how you hold it, the angle and so on. But the real point here is that's what we call a soft flame. So that little yellow flame, it's just the right intensity for lighting up your tobacco and then burning your tobacco. So arguably, that's basically the ideal. That's all you need, simple matches. Of course, there are downsides. The downside one is it's pretty awkward in the wind. If you're outside, just trying to shelter and get the thing lit, the match keeps blowing out. So potentially if you're smoking outdoors, this is one downside. The other is even inside, and what I found, and especially when you're a beginner, you're going to have a lot of relights. And with matches, inevitably means like literally a little plate or ashtray full of matches by your side. You build up quite a collection of burnt matches. So you do tend to go through them at quite a rate. And even if you're not a beginner, if you're smoking a flake tobacco or tobacco that's maybe a little moist or whatever, you can find yourself with quite a lot of relights. And when you first start using the lighter, you're amazed at how convenient it is, because it's just, pop, 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 easy to keep smoking. So point is, matches, you can't really go wrong. You're not going to mess up your smoke. You're not going to damage your pipe if you're using it halfway intelligently and literally not holding the flame around the rim ongoing. So yeah, matches are perfect, unless you're outside and unless, like I said, you get hassled with just constantly having to buy matches. So next, we always see, I suppose, the Zippo thing. It pops up ongoing, and Zippos have their fans, so very, very classical. I mean, what are the advantages, disadvantages? So you can buy literally hundreds, if not thousands, of iterations of the classic Zippo. We all know the format, I guess. So standard insert. This is the basic, normal, I would say, not basic maybe, but this is your standard Zippo insert. This one happens to be in brass rather than chrome. But yeah, it's liquid fuel, petrol, effectively, and replaceable, customizable, whatever you want to call it, outer casing. So Zippos, good and bad. Good, they're reliable, they're serviceable. It's kind of like the ubiquitous lighter. As I said, you've got hundreds and thousands of options to personalize it, engrave it, graphics, whatever you want. Everything's out there for a Zippo. And there's a certain coolness to a Zippo. It's a nice lighter. It feels nice in the hand. It has the famous Zippo click. So these are all the good points. Downsides? Well, for one thing, standard Zippo, it is liquid fuel. So you have to have the liquid fuel and then pour it into the sponge. And if you're not using it all the time, it will evaporate, fuel will evaporate, so you end up going to your lighter after a few days, and even though you had filled it, it doesn't work because the fuel's more or less gone. They're also a bit smelly, like this one. So even without lighting it, you just sniff it. Yeah, there's that fuel petrol-y kind of smell. So that can be a downside. Filling it is with liquid, so again, there's always a bit of spillage or a wee bit of mess. As I said, it'll evaporate off over time. And then when it comes to actually lighting, smoking with it, I think due to the way you light a pipe and use it, you're really aware of the Zippo fluid smell, and that puts a lot of people off. There are a few people who deny that that's a factor, or they say it's irrelevant. I think that's probably more the fact that they've just got used to it. So the majority opinion would be yes, it does impart a smell and a taste. Now either you can accept that and not mind it, or it really puts you off. So the liquid fuel effect has its downside. Another bonus, I suppose, they are relatively windproof. Obviously, that's a big part of the Zippo manufacture, or the Zippo marketing, I should say. Having said that, they're not standard Zippo like this is not what we could call pipe friendly. So we have our nice soft flame. Now technically it's not adjustable. You have to start like moving the wick or whatever, so you don't have like any feature where you can just make the flame more or less. But when it comes to lighting a pipe, we can see the issue is you turn it, the flame, it's not pipe friendly, okay? If you try to draw that down into a pipe, it's kind of a bit awkward, it's not really directed into the bowl for you. Now to get around that, Zippo have pipe-friendly inserts which look a little bit like this. This is actually a butane refill, so it's aftermarket, company called Thunderbird. So this is a butane, so a gas insert for a Zippo. But if we just look at the top for the moment, I think you can maybe understand what's happening there. So instead of the standard Zippo, we have this little insert goes in, and here you see the hole. So when you're holding that over the bowl of your pipe, the flame's drawing directly in, so it's the flame is coming here rather than vertically, which does work well. So you can get that for the standard Zippo for the liquid fuel, and that would be recommended for outdoors, windy conditions, something that's very durable, so could be ideal for you if you don't mind that liquid fuel. And I can still smell it, having burnt it a few moments ago. So what's better than a Zippo? What's our best option? Well, ultimately a standard butane lighter. So like this. This is a disposable that happens to be a clipper. You know, there's Bic. There are many out there. They're cheap. You can find them everywhere. This one isn't, but many are adjustable, so you can adjust the flame, which is, I think, always a good thing for a pipe, depending on the conditions where you are, indoors, outdoors. But again, compared to the match, basically the same. So this is soft flame. It's not going to damage your pipe. It gives you just enough heat if you use it correctly. You don't like put the flame deep into your tobacco, that it's not going to scorch the tobacco and you can get the best from it. So these are really, in my opinion, the best thing to use. The only downside, in my view, ultimately this is a disposable. And just consider the world and the number of disposable lighters that we're all using. And we use it and we throw it. That's a lot of plastic waste, which is something that I think we all should be doing our bit to reduce. So with that in mind, please consider one that's refillable. I mean, even this it's got the little nozzle. So it's a cheap clipper, but you can refill it. So if you're going to buy these things, try to get them that you can refill at least. And that way you're just buying the little metal container, filling your gas up, and I suppose less plastic waste, which is a very good thing. Moving beyond that, if you want to spend a little bit more and you're really enjoying the hobby, it's nice to have nice things or not. So ultimately that's what this is. Very well known again within pipe smoking, and a nice thing is that it is pipe specific. So what does that mean? Well, let's look at the standard clipper again. It's a vertical flame, so when you're trying to draw it into the pipe, you're having to draw a vertical flame all the way down through its axis. With pipe specific, you can see, okay, it looks like it's vertical, but if you really see in detail, the flame is actually coming out at a slight angle. So when you tip it to the pipe, it's drawn down into the bowl more conveniently. You're not burning your thumb so much and so on. So very convenient for a pipe. Now, beyond that, the flame is the same. People say, what's the difference? You spend a lot of money. This is a Corona Old Boy. Peterson do something similar, and there are others in the market. I love this one. I think it's a great lighter. It's lovely to use, but The flame is the same. So no, you pay all that money, you don't get a better flame. You get an adjustable butane flame. You can, turn the flame up and down with any of these lighters fairly easily. There's a little screw in the bottom. You can usually turn it just with your thumbnail. But yeah, what else? Well, what you get, it's a nicely manufactured piece. It's nice to use, it's nice to hold. Okay, this one has a few extra features like a little built-in tamper, which can be removed and used as a pick, though I rarely, if ever, do that. And that's basically it. So nice to use, replaceable flints, little bit of solidity to it. It's a nice metal object. Point is, refillable, so in theory, that's going to last you a lifetime with a little bit of care. So it's not this disposable culture of cheap plastic lighter and put it in the bin when you're finished. So that's something you can hold on for years. You can engrave them, you can personalize them also, you can hand it down to your family, whatever you want to do with it. Now, on butane lighters is a very important thing to note, because a lot of shops don't know this and they'll advise you badly. I recently saw one of our videos from our friend Simon, Ariage Pipes, where he went into a shop in Andorra and was asking for a lighter and was recommended one of these, well, an expensive version, a metal version, but ultimately the same technology. So this is the jet flame or turbo lighter, or I don't know, there's a bunch of different names for them. Basically, very, very, very intense, focused, hot flame. So as you can see that. So again, compare that to our soft yellow flame. So the problem with these, it's just too hot. It's too focused and sharp a flame, which is two things. One, it's going to scorch your tobacco, so it doesn't allow the tobacco to burn slowly, evenly, release the flavor and smoke. It simply just scorches it. It's like literally the nuclear option here. So that gives you a bad taste. You're not going to enjoy the smoke. The second thing is it's very likely to damage your pipe. So that's why we've got this old Molina here. I just use that for playing around with. It's down to bare wood now. It was a cheap pipe that I never really enjoyed smoking, and it had like a really bad finish on it. It was bubbling from heat and everything. So I just sanded it down by hand because I was curious to see the briar and check out the fills and so on, see what you really get with a cheap pipe. So we're going to use it basically as a bit of burn wood today. It is briar. So let's start with butane. Standard, well, all butane. I'm not going to bother with the liquid fuel. So a soft flame butane lighter, and we'll just find a bit of wood that's not damaged and hold it against it. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's it. A bit darkened, and to be fair, I would imagine that would rub off reasonably well. It's sooty as much as anything. Yeah, it's kind of not left much of a trace. So about 4 seconds, and we can say it hasn't really damaged the wood. The wood's not warm. So a little bit sooty, nothing much else. Try the same with this jet lighter. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, in 4 seconds or so, you can see the difference. So there, I think that answers the question. Keep these jet lighters away from your pipes, simply not for it. I use that, I have it around here because it's nice for camping, lighting up a camping stove, things like that. They're very good in the wind, but I won't put it anywhere near a briar pipe or any other pipe for that matter. So hopefully that sums it up. I'm trying to think, was there anything else I was going to mention in pros and cons? I think not. The recommendation's simple. Matches are perfect. You don't need anything more. The problem is you build up a little bin full of matches beside you every time you smoke. If you're a beginner who's going to have a few relights, or as I said, depending on the type of tobacco, it is a little bit inconvenient, but reliable, as long as it's not too windy. Other than that, butane, and you've got your choice. So butane, but remember, always soft flame. That means yellow flame, just like a match. That should be your benchmark. Does it look like the flame you get from a match? So soft flame butane, and you've got your options. So at the quality end of the market, the likes of the IM Corona, the Petersons, whatever, nice build, something that you're going to cherish, enjoy. It's a bit of quality in your hand. It's going to cost the same as a medium grade pipe, but hopefully you have it for many, many years. It's refillable, serviceable, so a pleasure to use. But if you don't want to spend that kind of money, then obviously super cheap, your Zippo, your clipper, whatever. And as I said, though, think for a second and see if you can just try to buy one that's refillable and use it for as long as you can before you need to chuck it. They're not going to have replaceable flints and so on. They use a different ignition system generally, so eventually it will wear out and you are going to have to put it in the bin, but hopefully you'll get quite a few refills rather than just dispose of them ongoing. Again, that's the advantage of one like this. You can replace the flints. Most of the components are replaceable, so you're just topping it up with gas once in a while. For me, a week at least. It depends how often I'm smoking, of course, but you could say more or less one fill a week, so they're pretty easy to use that way. With Zippo, there was something I wanted to mention. The gas insert, sorry, I didn't really talk about that. So Zippo do the butane insert for their classic lighter. It's literally a swap, you just pop it out and done. The problem is they don't do a pipe specific butane insert, which is irritating. And as far as I know, they only have the jet flame, so like a twin flame or something like that. I don't think they do a soft flame butane insert, and they definitely don't do a soft flame butane insert for a pipe. If they did, it would be perfect. I mean, it would be great. That would be your ideal, go everywhere, relatively low cost, reliable lighter. Zippo don't make it. What you can get is the aftermarket version. There might be one or two of these in the market, but this is by far the best known, Thunderbird, which I bought a while ago. The reason I bought it was at the time I had a Peterson butane, and I found it was really useless outdoors. Like any kind of, even the lightest breeze, the flame would go out. So I just simply couldn't use it outside. It was probably not even better than a match. And that was very frustrating for me because I like to take the pipe if I walk the dog or whatever. So I experimented, bought one of these, and I found it okay at first. But I realized that, there's something about it, it's not reliable. And if you read up on them, that's pretty much what you'll see people saying. I haven't bothered putting gas in this because I won't be using it much and it would just be a waste of gas, just to show you. At the end of the day, all you'll see is a flame. But what I found is even like when I fill it sometimes and it has a new flint, it doesn't want to light. That can be pretty irritating. So the reliability just wasn't good. It seems to leak gas in some way. So even when I filled it, sometimes it just doesn't seem to last very long. So you'd be ongoing filling it. The nozzle, for whatever it doesn't seem to be a great fit to the gas cans. Like I never have that problem with this or with the Peterson, but when I'm refilling this, it seemed to leak a lot of gas. You're never really quite sure is it going in or not. So no, I have not enjoyed using it, and I don't anymore. I simply just don't use the Zippo. If I'm outside, I find the clipper is reasonable enough unless it's extremely windy, and then that's just what it is. The Corona, in like a light breeze or anything, it's a little bit better than the Peterson. I have to say the Peterson was just terrible. If you breathe on the Peterson, the flame goes out. It's a little bit better, but it's definitely not suitable for outdoor use in Ireland or anywhere where there's a bit of a breeze. So the Clipper, I think, is a bit better. Just from the design, it does have like a little bit of a wind guard kind of built in. The flame is actually coming from below that, so I think that helps it. I'm sure like Bics and that are probably okay too. And what you can do is, obviously, if it's adjustable, which this one isn't, just give yourself a slightly bigger flame. Don't dunk it in your pipe, but the wee bit bigger flame means there's more gas flow, and that's going to be a wee bit more wind resistant. Just be careful how you use it around the rim of your pipe. But yeah, there's your summary. I don't personally recommend the Zippo insert from Thunderbird. It is pretty cheap. I don't find it reliable. It's plastic and everything. It's not a nice object. If it worked, that would be okay, but in my experience, not very reliable. So, again, in summary, buy matches, your friend. If you've got a budget, buy yourself a decent soft flame lighter, and preferably one that's designed for pipes like the IM Corona. Otherwise, you're not going to go wrong with a clipper, a Bic, or anything else. As I said, try to get one that you can refill, and preferably one that's got an adjustable flame. But these are small details. So I hope that helps. Bit of a waffly long video. Fun to do the demo though, and I mean, I think that really shows you the difference. So one thing you take away from this: do not use a torch lighter or a jet or whatever you want to call it, turbo lighter. Keep that away from your pipes, and all will be good. All right, guys. So enjoy your smokes. Maybe I'll do another video next time I have a subject in mind. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.